Welcome to the third part of my series on moving to Idaho. This video is about population growth in Idaho in the fastest growing areas. As of July of 2022, the population of Idaho was 1,900,039 people. The population of the U.S. currently is 339 million people. Just for reference, the largest state in the U.S. is California with 40 million people. The least populated state in the U.S. is Alaska with 725,000 people. Idaho ranks 38th in population in the U.S. States with similar population sizes include Nebraska, New Mexico, and West Virginia. Since 2010, Idaho has grown 22.5%. Its population in 2010 was 1,500,000. In 2022, Idaho was the second fastest growing state in the U.S., second to Florida. In the first two videos, we discussed the major regions, geographical features, and weather across the state of Idaho. If you haven't watched those, I recommend that you go back and take a look at those before you watch this video. Links are going to be posted above. Thank you for watching. I am posting a new video every week on life and real estate here in North Idaho. Take a moment to subscribe to my channel and turn the bell on for notifications so you don't miss a video. If you are interested in having a chat about moving to this area, give me a call anytime. My phone number and email address are in the header above, and they're also in the description below, and I might just put it right here on the screen. Also, I'm posting more content on my blog, which is letsgonorthidaho.com. On that site, I am sharing shorter snippets of life here in North Idaho, great restaurants, parks, etc. Things that maybe I wouldn't make a whole video about, but nonetheless might be interesting to someone looking to understand the area a little bit better. Lastly, if you want to set up a home search, head over to searchhomesnorthidaho.com. I will put all of those links in the description down below. In this video, I'm talking about the cities in Idaho that are experiencing the most growth. I am interested in knowing which areas are growing the most, and I wish I could know why they're growing so quickly, but that's kind of harder to find out. So if you live in one of these areas, drop me a line to let me know why you think it is growing so much. 3 Idaho cities are among the 15 fastest growing cities in the U.S., according to newly released data from the U.S. Census Bureau. The cities of Meridian, Caldwell, and Nampa all grew between July 2020 and 2021, joining cities in Texas, Arizona, Florida, and Tennessee as ones that experienced the most population growth over the year. The Census Bureau said that Meridian grew by 5.2% and has a population of 125,000 people. Caldwell grew by 5% and had a population of 63,000, and Nampa also grew by 5%, and their population is a little over 100,000 people. Boise is still the state's largest city, but experienced far less growth, growing by less than 1%. Idaho's total population grew from 1.85 million to 1.9 million between July of 2020 and July of 2021. The city with the largest population growth was Georgetown, Texas, which grew 10.5%. Now, I'm going to go through the list of cities and towns in Idaho that grew the most from 2010 to 2020. As you know, the census is done every 10 years, so I am going off of this data. First up is Meridian. The population change from 2010 to 2020 was an increase of 48,000 people, which ranked number 54 in growth for all the U.S. cities. This represented a population increase of 70%. That's a lot. The population in 2020 was 117,000. It is the second largest city in Idaho. In 2020, their population was around 117,000 and is now over 130,000. The next fastest growing city in Idaho was Boise, with an increase of 29,000 people from 2010 to 2020. The population increased by 14% during this time period. It is the largest city in Idaho and the 96th largest city nationwide. Boise's population in 2020 was 235,000, and this year they have over 244,000 people. Nampa is the third fastest growing city in Idaho, with a growth of over 20,000 people from 2010 to 2020. Their population grew 27% during this time period, and it is now the third largest city in Idaho. Their population in 2020 was just over 100,000 people, and their population currently is over 105,000 people. Caldwell, Idaho ranks number 4 in growth, with a population increase of 37%, which is an addition of 16,000 people from 2010 to 2020. It is the 5th largest city in Idaho. Their population in 2020 was just over 60,000, and currently they have over 64,000 people. Rexburg, Idaho grew by 60% from 2010 to 2020. It had over 14,000 people moved to their city, and it is now the 9th largest city in Idaho. In 2020, they had 39,000 people, and now they have over 43,000 people. Post Falls, Idaho grew 47% from 2010 to 2020, adding over 12,000 people to their city. It is now the 10th largest city in Idaho. In 2020, their population was 39,000 people, and now their population is close to 42,000. Eagle grew by 61% from 2010 to 2020. They had over 11,000 people move to their city during that time period. Their current population is now over 30,000 and has definitely grown since that 2020 census date. It is now the 12th largest city in Idaho. Their population in 2020 was 30,000, and currently it has 33,000 people. Up in North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene was the 8th fastest growing city in Idaho between 2010 and 2020. Their population increased by over 11,000 during that time period, which represents a 26% increase in residents. It is the 7th largest city in Idaho with a population over 50,000. Currently, their population is 57,000, so they've added another 7,000 people in the last couple years. Kuna, Idaho grew 9th fastest between 2010 and 2020, adding over 10,000 people to their population and growing by, get this, 74%. It is now the 14th largest city in Idaho. Their population in 2020 was 24,000, and they now have over 26,000 residents. Twin Falls grew by 22% between 2010 and 2020, adding almost 10,000 people to their population. Their population in 2020 was just over 51,000, and it is ranked the 8th largest city in Idaho. In 2020, they had 51,000 people, and currently they have 54,000 residents. I'm skipping the list a little bit to get to more North Idaho cities. Ranking number 16 and 17 for growth in Idaho are Hayden and Rathdrum. Hayden grew by almost 3,000 people from 2010 to 2020, which represented a 22% increase. Its population in 2020 was 15,000, and it was the 18th largest city in Idaho. This year, in 2023, the population is just over 16,000, so it's definitely still growing. Rathdrum grew by 40% from 2010 to 2020, adding 2,600 people to their population. In 2020, it was the 25th largest city in Idaho. In 2023, Rathdrum is closing in on 10,000 residents. So where are these people coming from? California has had the most people moving to Idaho, accounting for 34% of new residents. Washington is next in line with 10% of new residents hailing from the Evergreen State. Arizona, Texas, and Oregon are next up, with each state sending about 6% of new residents. All right, you probably now have more information than you ever wanted or needed on population statistics in Idaho. I hope this helps you see all of your options when it comes to places to live in Idaho. My company has realtors all over Idaho, so if you are looking for a broker recommendation in an area I don't serve, please don't be shy. I'm happy to interview brokers for you and get you in touch with someone who's going to provide you with excellent service. As always, I am only a phone call away. Feel free to call or text if you want to chat about moving to North Idaho. My phone number and email address are in that description below.